All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. This class is called Coherence, Living in Integrity and Allowing Our Heart to Guide Our Brain. So the intention in this class is to have a little bit more clarity about what the concept of coherence is, how we can create that and sustain coherence more in our lives, how the benefits of coherence, and we'll learn a tool to help us shift to coherence on demand whenever we want to, using a tool from HeartMath. So it's just a very science-based protocol of how we can shift ourselves into getting into alignment with our hearts, and then using our full body and our most optimal state to navigate life with. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to, oh yeah, again, so if you'd like to, the more interactive the better. So, and we can, I'd love for your participation if you're here live, and if you are going to watch this or you're watching it as a recording, you can follow along, and because I really want to make it real for all of us, on what's happening currently in our lives, in our emotions, and how we can create those shifts in emotions to get us into alignment. So the more real and tangible it is, I feel like it's more impactful, and we can really learn to have this be a practical tool, like a practical, awareness in this learning these things that we might innately know, but when we learn them in this way, it might really increase our awareness and increase our ability to take control really of our lives, and to make those small changes in our lives that really are going to create a much healthier, much wholesome life. So okay, so here is my screen. I'm going to find my presentation, and here you go, right here to the beginning slideshow. Okay. Oh, and I want to actually go back for a second, and when I share, because I want to make sure that I can share my my sound. Sometimes I don't share the sound, and then here. Okay, yeah, I hadn't pressed that button. Hi, Diane, by the way. Well,
Hi.
hi. Okay. And can you see my screen? Okay, okay, perfect. All right, you can see my screen, and now you can hear it. Okay, here it is. So yes, our class, Coherence. Live with integrity, let your heart guide your brain. I'm gonna play this video. Okay. So sorry that I just started that without giving much notice, but you saw this commercial. It's a commercial, but it helps illustrate something for us here. And so I would love to hear what your feelings were, what your take was. What did you get out of this, watching this video? What did you observe in yourself? So feel free to type it in the chat, or if you want to share with your voice, that'd be great. Yeah, CJ. There.
Yeah, gosh, I feel like I've been there so many times. You can be in the perception of overstimulation and chaos. But for me, because I've been practicing coherence
Mm-hmm.
and getting better at it, I can totally relate to the challenge of getting in your heart, but then when you're in it, realizing, wow, you have access to that perception where everything can become more of a divine orchestration around you instead of a chaotic imposition into your well-being.
Wow.
Kind of.
That's so beautifully said, CJ. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that, putting it that way. Anyone else? Hi, Robin, by the way. Hello. Hi. Um, yeah. Yeah, I'd love if anyone else has anything else to share about it. That'd be great. Oh, Kara thought it was a meditation. Um, yeah, so there's the two parts. It's the same track, it's the same, visual, but in one there's it's like that chaos, that noise, that like which could represent our internal noise in the brain, like just that anxiety and that it's just kind of like, and the squeaking, it just even like makes you but then on the others, the sound of like the orchestra and the beautiful like music playing, but it also then symbolize our internal, our inner, our inner life in a beautiful symphony, despite what's going on outside. And but I really love the what you added, CJ, was like the orchestration of like, oh, the synchronicities and the things, that the way we perceive things, that we're actually able to see how everything is in divine order, and then the inner and the outer become like a symphony. So anyway, this is a representation of how we can create inner shifts, and that is completely possible, that we take control over the way we are perceiving the outside and not allow the outside to be, the like creating our inner state. So now I'd love for you to, in your paper that you have, to write a list of emotions that you have felt in the last 24 hours. You can include maybe the emotions from this track, from this video, if you can't think of anything. But what I'm just looking for is for us to make an inventory of the emotions that have been present for us, just so recently. So it's like a fresh thing that we can really apply to, to what I'm going to illustrate for us here. And if you want to share it here, that way we can work with a few, and then yeah, like use some real emotions. So I'm going to add myself excitement from this presentation from Roland McCready on the Global Consciousness Project. That makes me really excited and it inspires me. So I'm going to write excitement and inspiration. And I'm also going to, even the smallest things. Last night I wasn't able to sleep, and I actually woke up like really kind of like I realized like I was worried about something. So I'm going to write down for that emotion. There's a worry. So there's a worry present for me at least last night. So yeah, if any of you would like to share any, you can type them in or you can talk. Yeah, but I'll just give you a moment to write those down. And if you're watching this as recording, you can pause and make that inventory of emotions. Yeah. All right. Anyone here have any others to share? Yeah.
Um, I have been feeling a lot of anger out of the
Okay.
blue.
Yeah, I love, thank
Kind of
you.
what has drawn me here today is because
Okay.
I've like feeling so coherent for a long time and kind of upping my game with meditation and making different choices.
Yeah.
And this is I can definitely attest to the anger not coming from anything outside me. Nothing's happening in my outer world to make
Mm-hmm.
me feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been feeling a lot of anger and hopelessness and
Okay.
loneliness.
Did you
And
say?
yet, in the last hour, I also have felt gratitude and self-love because I participated in a coherence healing with my group
Oh wow.
today, and just connecting with them remotely just made me feel like, oh, I'm the little bird that just returned to the flock, and this
Oh,
is where love is. Yeah,
wow.
so I had a big range of emotion
Oh
today.
wow. Yeah. I thank you so much. That gives us
Very,
a lot of realness
yeah,
because I know that a lot of us feel all of the range of those as well, like in like a period of 24 hours. Like how do
and
you
even fear, like, my former self never would have showed up like this and shared online, especially with people I don't know,
know?
knowing it's gonna be recorded. A little
Okay.
bit of fear there, but I'm like, "Okay, you can do this. You've done this before. It's not nothing bad's gonna happen. Just be real."
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really want to honor you for that and to just share my gratitude because I think that with vulnerability is really the way that
Mm,
we're really can heal, like just being able just being willing to share and put it out there and like acknowledge it. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And and really thank you for being a model for that because as we are reaching for wanting to shift, wanting to grow and and like and reach for better feeling states, coherence, and unless we acknowledge where we're at, then we can make a shift, you know? Um, yeah, so this is actually part of this exercise, really, and why it's so important to be in touch with what it is that is alive, even maybe if we can't eloquently share what it is. It's just like I don't it can just be like I feel it's dark, I feel it's empty, like whatever words we can put into that. And because then that just helps create that awareness and say I'm reaching for something different and I'm willing and open to make this shift. So
gosh, yeah, thank you for that because I feel like that's something I just come up against when those feelings come up is I fight it.
mhm. Yeah.
And I'm really learning to acknowledge and just allow, and the combination of that, I guess, and coming into your heart. But every time something big comes up, it's always different. And at first you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? You start
Mm.
resisting it. So thank you for validating that for me, the acknowledgement piece.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're human. Like we came with it all. So what are we gonna do with all that? And yeah, so Okay, so with what we've got now, we've got this list going on. Now, what do we do with it? So I'd love for you to draw now like a cross, like a quadrant. And what we're going to now is place the emotions in the different quadrants, and this will really help illustrate. It'll all make sense at the end. So starting with, I have here excitement. I'm just going to tell you kind of where there's 4 different places where they can go. And so excitement, I'm going to put on the top right-hand side of my quadrant. And then inspiration, I'm going to put that on the right-hand side, but at the bottom, so the bottom right side. I'll show you in a minute. Inspiration. Worry, I'm going to put at the bottom left side. Anger, I'm going to put on the top left side. Hopelessness, I'm going to put at the bottom left side. Loneliness, also on the bottom left. Self-love, I'm going to put on the self-love, I'm going to put on the bottom right. Okay, so here, so what we've got here is, this is my left side, We've got anger, worry, hopelessness, loneliness on this left side of the grid. On the right side of the grid, we've got excitement, and then inspiration, self-love. So so what I'm now going to ask you to do is on the part where it says that left side where there's anger and worry and hopelessness, is to draw a line, a jagged line like this down the middle. Kind of like this. I just drew a big line down there. And on this side, I'm going to draw this really beautiful kind of wave, a wave. My pen. I have another pen, but do you see that? Oops. Let me see if I can get my pen to there. Okay, so you see there's a difference right there? Okay. So question, what do you think these lines represent? Any guess or anything? You can type it in this chat or you can share it. Any guess what do they symbolize? They represent something really important. And I like to make this point because this is sometimes what really gets stuck. Rashmi, yes, it's the heart rhythm. Bing, bing, you got it. It is the heart rhythm. So our heartbeat, it beats in a different pattern with different emotions. So the emotions on this left side of the grid are emotions that deplete our energy. And so our heart rhythms, if we were to take a heart monitor or we could take the pulse, we know what anger feels like. It's just like, and what we might not know though, how our heart rhythm is when we're feeling lonely, or when we're feeling worry or hopelessness, that those emotions might kind of fall under the radar because they might be just kind of laying low, like it's not, our heartbeats may not be as activated, but the pattern is definitely different. When we look inside, same with like, for example, like inspiration, it's just like this, like the heart is not beating fast, like in excitement or joy, or like, so fun, excited, but it's not beating super fast, but the rhythm is different if we're to look at it from, inside. So to illustrate this better, and just to help you see, make sure you got your graph, I'm going to share my screen and show you what this looks like in a graph. And actually, this is what I asked you to draw, that quadrant. So in this quadrant, you see on the left side, we've got the depleting emotions. At the top, see, it says depleting emotions. And then on the right side, we see the renewing emotions. Depleting emotions are all the emotions that drain our energy. They take away, anytime we have this outburst of anger, or of even of the worry, hopeless, like if we are aware that is happening, there's a draining in emotions. Well, again, anger, we can actually really feel it. Like if we remember the last time we got so mad, and then do you notice that you might get tired afterwards, like, or a child, when a child is having like a big tantrum, and then they just go to sleep because they've just depleted all their energy. So that's what depleting emotions just, drain our energy. On the other side, renewing emotions give us energy. They renew, restore our energy. Being in coherence is restoring our energy. So there's other important pieces that we can get from this graph is, when we are in depleting emotions, there are hormones that the body is producing. Cortisol being one of the most present hormones that is produced by the body when we are in depleting emotions. Depleting emotions is also, our fight, flight, freeze mode. So when we're like when Dr. Joe Dispenza shares, living off the hormones of stress, our field shrinks. We know that when studying his work, is that there's something in the body. We become more particle and less energy. We can see that in here in this graph as well. When we're in renewing emotions, we produce hormones that give us vitality, that give us, the DHEA is a very long name, but DHEA is just short for this hormone that is also known as the vitality hormone, the one that renews, restores, gives us vitality, gives us energy. In Dr. Joe terms, it gives us, we become more energy and less particle. Our field expands. So being aware of where we are, this is one of my favorite quadrants to always keep handy. Maybe you can screenshot this, or just have maybe use a paper just like this, and draw these representations, just to become more aware on our day-to-day, where we are in the emotion to in the depletion to renewal grid, also known as the emotional landscape. Where are we? As we become more and more aware of where our energy is going, where are we, where is our tendency? And it's not that we're not going to feel depleting emotions. The question is, how long do we stay in depleting emotions? And also in our map, how, when, if we are taking an inventory, just like a, like a kind of a balance sheet, are there more emotions in the depleting side, or even more, think something to pay attention to, is the lower left side of the grid, like loneliness, like worry, like hopelessness. Those emotions tend to fall under the radar. They in the like we can become accustomed to them, and like some people even just live like that's normal. But we, something in us, in our heart, knows that that's not what we came here into this world for. We came to be happy, we came to be joyous, we came to live like, and our heart might draw us to this, to realize that, hey, I can shift. I can make a change in the way I feel, and it is not normal, because number one, my body is producing hormones that are actually aging me. They're creating dis-ease. It is dis-ease. So again, that's why I mentioned how important it is to know how long do we stay in depleting emotions. So the shorter the amount of time that we are in depleting emotions, like, the better our life is. And that's what this is all about, is really to just recognize, okay, I had an anger outburst. Oh, what am I going to do now? Because that like really drained my tank. What am I going to do to create energy now? Am I going to go for a walk? Am I going to use a tool? Am I going to meditate? Am I going to, all your tricks that you have up your sleeve of how you're going to shift. So, okay, any questions or anything before I keep moving forward? Is that making sense? Hope so. All right, I'm going to move to
Wait,
the.
I have a question. Oh,
Yes.
wait, there you go. Maybe you'll go ahead. It looks like it's going to be answered in the next slide. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Here they are all out, mapped out. So left side, anger, frustration, anxiety, just high heart rate, burnout, withdrawal, resentment. Lower left side, the ones that tend to go under the radar. The renewing side, excitement, courage, passion, contentment, fulfillment, ease, and note those. And something I didn't mention is the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So this is our nervous system. Our autonomic nervous system is obviously what gives us the range of emotions. When we're in high heart rate, that is our sympathetic nervous system is activated. Low heart rate, our parasympathetic nervous system is what is operating. And our hormonal systems are is what is producing. We are producing hormones that either deplete us or renew us, that either create that homeostasis, that just everything is working in harmony when we are in renewing emotions, and the depleting emotions are preparing us for fight, flight, freeze. There is a reason why we feel these emotions. They have a reason to exist. They keep us from danger. They keep us safe. They keep us alive. They're signals. They're signals that are that it's important to pay attention and to accept them, and to like to recognize, oh, there's something that my emotional guidance system is telling me. And so, you know, not to push them away, to judge ourselves for having them, but just realizing, oh, okay, I can make a shift, or oh, this is what I needed to know from this emotion. You know, you get the benefit, and then you move, you actively create a different state. um okay, here, next slide. So we're going to learn how to move, how to create a different state. So I'm gonna, for that, I have my, I'm gonna show you a tool. It's I'm showing you two things. This is my heart rate monitor. This is the one I have for the computer. It's the same one, but I'm gonna open up my my software that measures that, so you can see in real time my shift in heartbeat. So we're going to learn this quick coherence tool from the Heart Math Institute, that is a very simple, very just a really effective technique on creating a shift in our emotional state. Just opening up this my software here. Okay. Any questions while this opens up? Okay. All right. Okay, it's on. Share screen. Okay, here. So this is the software from Heart Math. It's the same for this one. This is the Bluetooth device that connects with the phone. But I'm going to start it. It's going to calibrate there. And you'll see my pulse in a second. And we're going to practice this tool. There's my pulse right there. Shows that I'm alive. There's my heart rate variability showing up there. And now I'm going to lead us through the quick coherence technique. So the quick coherence technique is a way that anytime when we feel we're in a draining emotion, or anytime we detect any of the emotions that we just saw on the left side of the grid, we can, we can make the choice of slowing down the heart rate to then create a shift to move us closer to the right side of the grid. Whether that is to just decrease intensity of an emotion, or to completely, shift it into, so we can actually see that we are creating a different emotion. My highest recommendation is that you integrate this into your daily habit. I know that most of us here meditate already, but shifting into coherence as we start a meditation is really a good practice of getting us into really the heart, and getting our heart and our brain synchronized, and also our hormonal system. You'll see in a moment. I'll show you a graph of all the internal systems that get synced up just by doing this simple technique. My heart is all over the place, as you can see, but this will take us just a few minutes, maybe about 3 minutes at the most, so you can do it with me. And we can see a shift in real time. Okay, and you can, my goal is that you see how simple it is to, how simple it can be to shift into coherence. All right, so we can just start by focusing our attention in the area around the heart. If it helps, you can put your hand on your heart, just so that all our focus is going to the heart. As we know, our energy flows where all our attention is. So we're focusing our attention in the area around the heart or chest area. We're imagining our breath is flowing in through the heart and out through the heart. And we're breathing in just a little slower. Just a little deeper than usual. We can count to about 5 seconds as we inhale. 5 seconds as we exhale. And now we can make a sincere attempt to activate our regenerative feeling. Feelings such as care, compassion, appreciation, gratitude for someone or something in our lives. Let's just stay there for another minute. All right, we're gonna stop it now. Okay, well, now let's analyze what we've got here in my graph. This is me making my best effort to show you how to get into coherence. And so how to get into the green zone and shifting. So You know, it started off here as just all over the place. You see here in my HRV at the beginning, just so jagged. And then as we moved, I think it was about minute 2.5 when we started doing the quick coherence technique. Not the most sound, not the most coherent, really, like, you know, but you can see a shift. You can see how there is extremely jagged at the beginning, and then there's more effort in the as time, as we moved into the technique. The bottom, you can see it more clearly, although there is more green at the beginning, and then just up and down, up and down. And what I can tell you, like, just like, you know, what was going on inside of me, there was a lot of like, oh, you know, knowing that I was being recorded here live, that it was going to stay here. So yeah, like the mind can really get us off track. You know, my phone is right here, so there's distraction. But you see, you know, minute 5.5, really getting into that gratitude, getting into the feeling of appreciation of being with you here today, of you showing up here, of the people watching the recording. And but see how it's like really that mental focus that gets us, and the focus on the elevated states that get us into the coherent state. So so that's this demonstration. Now I want to show you what this looks like in another graph with someone doing well, actually there's yeah, a few more graphs that are really illustrating this beautifully. Okay, so this one shows, you know, incoherence, what that, you know, that red line, you know, just it inhibits our brain function. We can't think clearly when we're incoherent, when we're in anger, frustration. It's like, yeah, the parts of the brain just simply shut down. The prefrontal cortex shuts down. When we are in coherence, it facilitates our brain function. So that's another really important piece of why it is important to get into coherent state. We just become smarter. We can think way more. Okay, so this is the one I wanted to show you, how the coherent state, you know, shifting. So you see here in orange says the quick coherence technique. So all our respiration, our heart rate variability, and our blood pressure, all these systems in the body are shifted. They change when we apply this tool, the quick coherence tool, which as you notice, you know, we're slowing down the breath. The heart being the organ in the body that allows that to slow down with deep inhales, with deep exhales. And then as we activate with the regenerative feeling, which we know that the regenerative feelings are what get us into coherence with focus, then look at all the systems in the body that shift, you know, that they go from jagged to sound wave, you know, more of a beautiful, like, rhythmic pattern. And that's, you know, again, we know all the benefits from that. Like all the things that our body is actually, you know, producing. Again, like we're producing all those, instead of depleting, you know, producing cortisol, then we neutralize that. We shift more into producing vitality, restoring ourselves. This is a demonstration of what, you know, this is a husband-wife arguing. He has the monitor on. So this is his heartbeat just shooting up as she says something that gets under his skin. He goes up to like 150 beats per minute. And the time that's another important part that I was mentioning. How long do we remain in anger? How long do we remain in resentment? How long do we remain in emotions that deplete us when we don't have a way to get back into, to use a tool, to apply a technique? Our heart rate will remain elevated, like for long periods of time after we've had an emotional, like a shift in our state. As we can see here, his heart rate remains elevated after the argument ends for a long period of time. Versus right here, in this graph, we see a police officer who is trained in HeartMath in applying where it says officer shifts and resets, that he applied a tool. One of the tools being the quick coherence tool. He's trained because HeartMath is people all around the world for all walks of life, especially in law enforcement, medical field, people that are in high stress jobs need this training, or is required actually training, because we know that a police officer that is not able to maintain his coherence or maintain his composure will likely either could create a mistake, could have and do something that would really jeopardize the safety of him and other people. So being able to be trained to remain or shorten the time again, also for the lifespan of this of us, but people in high stress level jobs, we know what chronically being in stress will create in the body, so. But the time that he spent in the scenario with his heartbeat rate up so high, like up to 190, was not that long of a time. You see, after he shifts and resets, his heartbeat goes back to normal in a very short period of time. So it doesn't remain elevated, just as we saw in the previous graph. And so he's back. He is back into being in a place where he can operate optimally, think clearly, not be draining energy, not being producing the hormones of stress. So just, here's a demonstration of what really applying a tool, being proactive about creating a shift in our emotional state in the moment, can just really help us restore our energy, restore our composure, regain our clarity, and help us navigate life in a more efficient, effective way. Okay, I think it's almost, like want to make sure we end on time. So the question here is for us is to, like, what would your life be? How would your life be different if you knew how to get into coherence on demand? Would that create more time in your life, more quality of life? Another question important is, what can we do today to create more coherence in our lives? And what actions are we committed to taking? So I'd love to hear if you have any ideas, because nothing is off limits here. Because we know that this is a tool, but there's other ways that we can create coherence. So maybe sharing some ideas might be useful for us to know, if you have any ideas or any questions. How do How do you do it?
Well,
Mm.
I just have some feedback. I mean,
Yes.
I've taken one heart math coherence class before. There's a woman in our
Oh, really?
coherence healing group that's certified, and so she taught the group. And so I've seen a couple of those charts, but to
Mhm.
see live
Uh-huh.
your heart rate um,
Yeah.
was very inspiring, and I think simplified it for me. I think sometimes, when I started Dr. Joe's work, I'm like, "Hey, well, how on earth do I stop being afraid about my health and this health condition?"
Yeah.
Um, and of course, more practice at it now, but it really brought home for me how simple it is.
Yeah.
And I think I have not really paid much attention to the heartbeat as an indicator. Like,
Okay.
not just the quality of the heartbeat, but the time, the heart rate time, because I never really feel that. So I
Uh-huh.
think that for me, I feel like when I am in coherence, I
Uh-huh.
don't always know it. Like, it doesn't feel like a huge
O-
shift.
Okay.
And so I think sometimes I get caught up in looking outside myself for indicators that I'm in coherence.
Oh,
But
okay.
this really helped me to take that expectation off and just trust that that coherence is happening.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. And-
I mean, I love live with integrity, let your heart guide the brain. I love Dr. Joe's work, but I feel like with heart math, that heart always goes first.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And sometimes I get caught up in what to think so that
uh-huh.
my heart is, but as I'm getting more practiced and this is solidifying this for me to just keep going back to the heart. Just get calm and
Yes.
breathe and it'll come. And don't worry if you're not seeing a big change in your health or whatever. Just keep bringing it home. Keep bringing it back to the heart.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you so much for today.
Yeah, CJ, thank you so much for putting it that way exactly too. And I'm so glad that this is what you got, because that's, priceless, really. Like it's I think that one of the things that HeartMath has really taught me is to lead with heart, is to start with heart and end with heart, and because the heart knows, the heart is there's so we know that there is a brain in the heart. We know when we do, blessing of energy centers, that each energy center has intelligence, and the heart intelligence is when we are, using, because we do need to activate, like, okay, how do we activate a regenerative feeling? Well, it's like a communication between heart and the brain. But and I'm so glad that you bring this up, because I hadn't actually mentioned it, about how to to center yourself in the heart first, is that the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain to the heart. That's another fact, that a scientific fact. So what is the heart sending? What is that information when we're in coherence? That ascending information is the communication that is, oh, we're we're in our optimal state. We're returning back to, who we truly are, and the this information that is being shared from the heart is very different than what the brain alone can conjure, you know um as we the saying says, the brain thinks but the heart knows. And we know by the way we feel, oh, this feels good. So I hope that gave something extra here to add to what you said. Yeah, so this is the presentation, but as you know, like, I mean, I also, it goes on, heart math is a whole system. And actually, so next week we're starting the Coherence mastery program. So that is something that you're invited to. It's an 8-week training, and we go through the whole heart math system. And what is really cool and unique is just to each week, we're practicing. If you have this, we use it in between weeks, so that you're applying the tool like we just did, quick coherence tool. You apply it all week, and then we build on to that week another tool. There are 6 basic tools. There's so many more, but the 6 basic tools are really like help navigate life and bring us back into coherence throughout, even after meditation, before, like it's how to sustain the coherent state beyond meditation, and have coherence help us create a better, more wholesome life, and have less worry, have less stress symptoms in our lives, like have more answers of there's a beautiful tool called the freeze frame technique, where we use our intuition to help, to have our heart guide us to like actual answers. And so many other tools that can help, just like we saw, with the police officer or the husband wife, in practical terms, help keep us in coherence and guide us. Use the heart intelligence to help guide our lives. And again, let the heart guide us. And so, invitation for that. Yeah.
Is there a charge for that?
This one is paid. Yeah, this one
Yeah.
is, I can send you information on that right now. If you don't have this, it comes
I
with,
don't.
do you have one?
I don't right now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it comes with this one, and these are 250 alone.
Uh-huh.
If when you buy it from HeartMath. But if you buy this training for the 8-week program, is 2 payments of $550, I believe I have it. And if
Okay.
you're a member of the Coherence Meditation Gym, you get 10% off.
Okay.
And if you sign up with it, like, before then, you get a one-on-one out with me to help you set it all up, and like, so that I can help you apply this like into your life. Like,
So how often do you do these 8-week things? Do you do a couple
um,
a year?
yeah. So we'll do one starting on the 14th of May, which is next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that will run for 8 weeks, and then we'll a few weeks will go by, and then I don't have dates for the next one, but yeah. And
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I'll do it right now, but might be
Mhm.
something in the future that I want to
Y-
do. So I was just curious how many times you run it.
yeah, there's always another one starting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Yes,
today.
thank you guys. And yeah, it's yeah, love, just remember to come back to your heart. Just come back to the heart. The heart knows. Well, look forward to seeing you in meditation. Yeah, we've got blessing of energy centers, and yeah, and I forget what the other one is, but energy center 4 is coming up, and then tuning into new potentials next week. All right. Well, thank you so much for showing up. Bye for now. Lots of love. Hi.